Good morning. It is Dory with Cauldron of Crafty Creations, and we are continuing to work on this Grunge Your Art mini journal for the Line Dot Arrow Grunge Your Art January challenge. This is using week 3 freebies. There may be a few of the freebies from week 1 in here as well. And then I have a couple other digitals that are from I don't know where. So I did work a little bit on this without you. My phone was charging and in the other room, and I wanted to add a little something. So I did nothing major, just did a little bit of stenciling. So I just used a couple of stencils, and I will find a page and do another one. So that's just on the back of this envelope that we decorated yesterday. And then I used, that's not the one, this one on here with walnut stain. The green ink is this one. So it's Delta, I don't even know. Probably came from Joann's, but I'm not 100% sure. It was just in my stash. I did those leaves again. I did the clocks again. I think, oh, one more with the leaves. And I will go ahead and do one on camera just to show you what I did. So I think we'll use this one for this page. Do something a little different. And I'm going to do green again. So we'll use this one, and I just took my dauber and my ink and just pressed it straight down on the page with the stencil on it. And I think we're going to do this one a little bit lighter impression, a little bit more of kind of a whisper instead of a yell. Alright, and so that one just has just a hint on there. So, just adding a little bit of interest to some of the pages. So, we've got that. Alright, so I have somewhere, oh, there it is. Just have this binder, actually has a picture on it from when I was teaching. This was my class in 2008. It's great. Oh, Garza Elementary. But I just have page protectors with a variety of stencils, and so these are going to get rinsed off and put back in here with their friends. So I do not remember where these came from. Well, actually, this one I know came from Joann's. I didn't end up using that one, but the other ones, your guess is as good as mine. I've had them for a couple of years, and I'm not quite sure where they came from. So, all right, let's see. What do we want to do now? First, I need to drink water, and I forgot my water on the counter. So, excuse me for a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. And I don't know if you could hear that squeaking sound, but my exercise ball was rubbing up against the stove. Kind of tight quarters in here, so moved it over and forward a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to work on the back of this digital page, and I'm going to use just a bag from CVS that had my prescriptions in it, and I'm going to, I've never done this before, so this is a new one. It's an experiment. I'm going to put it on here, and it's going to be a fold out, so it's almost going to be like a little mini journal that's attached to the page. I might put it on here. I am, in fact, I'm going to put it on here as a side tuck. So let's fold it first. And we're gonna go like that. And then this will come over like this. And then this will come back up like this. So, alright, so that's how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to play with this and cover it all, and then we'll come up with it in a journal once it's decorated and looking spiffy. So, I might leave that piece just the brown. This spot, I'm going to put some of this. And we're going to trim it off. Right here. And then I'm going to trim it, and then I'll see how tall I want it. Found my stapler. It was in my box of punches literally right next to me, and I didn't realize it was here when I was looking for it in my last video. And I think another video right before that. Oh, man. I'm a silly one. I've got stuff everywhere, and half the time it's right in front of me and I don't realize it. But that's alright. I love me like that. So, just trying to make a little room on my desk. I need to clean this off and organize it, but I'm just having so much fun creating. I don't want to stop to clean. I mean, come on. So, funny story. When I was a little girl, I would, I hated cleaning up so much that I would not play with my toys just because I didn't want to have to clean them up. And so, alright, that's going to leave a little bit of a border. So, I'll just go right about there. Trim that off. And so, I mean, and I had so many toys. I had like tons and tons of Barbies and Barbie stuff. And then, just gonna snip that with the scissors. That little piece can go somewhere. Be part of a cluster, probably. Alright, so that doesn't look very straight. Oh, I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay, so then this is gonna go right here. Go ahead and glue it on there. And so I would just, play without toys so that I didn't have to pick them up, clean them up. So my mom would have to be like, oh, I'll help you clean it up. Let's play with your Barbies, or let's play with your strawberry shortcake dolls, which I've given you as a gift, but when you grow up, these are mine. She had big plans to decorate her house, a room in her house with kids' toys, and it did not ever come to fruition for her. Tons of our toys are in her storage unit that we have not dug into going through yet. My brother and sister-in-law decided to pay for the storage unit for a while so that we had some time and didn't have to go and deal with that right away. We had to clean her house out right away. 14 days, or her apartment, 14 days from her death until it was no longer hers, no longer. And so that was an ordeal. My mom loved her stuff, and she had lots of it. I've inherited that tendency to hoard from both of my parents. Inherited, learned, whatever you want to say. And so, being very fresh off the the loss of my mom and cleaning out her apartment, it was like, no, I have to keep that. No, I have to keep that. I mean, okay, so the first day that was, so woke up Wednesday morning to the news that she had passed in the night. And Thursday, a close family friend who's basically, I just consider her an aunt, came over to, she met me over there to help me go through stuff. And I found, I was going through papers, a box that had a bunch of papers and stuff in it. And what is that mark? I always laughed at people when they couldn't see their mark, and now I'm that person who can't see my mark. And there was, I was like, oh, I can't throw this away. It has my mommy's handwriting on it. And then I said, Dory, this is a scribbled out grocery list. You have plenty of things that have your mommy's handwriting on them that are not, that are, actually, sentimental or sweet. You do not need to keep a scribbled out grocery list just because it has your mommy's handwriting on it. And so that first day, it was like, oh, I'm keeping this, I'm keeping this, I'm keeping this. And by the last day that we were cleaning stuff out, it was like, I don't want any of it. Get rid of it. And there, but I did figure that, like somebody said to me, they said, you can always get rid of stuff later. You can always keep something now and get rid of it down the road. And she had some really cool blue glass mason jars, and I did not keep them. And that's the one thing that I'm like, oh, kind of wish I would have kept them. But I'm not dwelling on it because I have plenty of sweet things of hers. I love jars, and I prefer not to use plastic stuff in my kitchen. I do it as little as possible, and so I really like using jars for storing leftovers and, things like flour and sugar and stuff. So, kind of wish I would have kept those, but oh well. C'est la vie. I'm pretty sure she has more of that kind of stuff in her storage unit. She's got everything in her storage unit. Okay, so I'm not going to fully decorate this right now. Let's see, do I want to do, I think I'll do a stencil on here. I think I'll do this one. Green ink. So, how are you today? What's new? Are you crafting? Are you fussy cutting? Are you thinking about crafting? So the reason I go just straight up and down is because I don't want to smudge the art or the ink up under the sides of the stencil, because I have done that before. So got that. That's going to be glued down here as a side tuck, and then this will be a pocket, and then we need to decorate this side. And I'm thinking, look through my stuff up here, because I might want to do something different than that page from the digitals. I love the page from the digitals, but I also could use this to make some cards, because I'm going to make some top loading pockets on this as well. Use some of this music paper digital that came from I don't know where, because I've had it for so long. And I'm going to get my trimmer out and trim the edges. Cap back on my glue so I don't lose it. ties it to the side of the bottle or something so that it stays close. It likes to sneak away. Okay, just trimming off that white edge. I'm just gonna trim those two edges for now because I didn't cut all the way. So we're just gonna finish that with the scissors. And I'll be grabbing that trimmer again in just a second once I mark off. First, we're going to mark the height and then, well, no, I'm not going to do both of them with this. I'm just going to do one side with this. And we'll do this one, the bigger one. I'm going to trim it again. Well, I'll do that when I trim it. Okay, so I'm going to cut about... I keep setting my pencil down on the desk instead of putting it into the cup. And I need to put it in the cup so that it's easier to find and I don't have to look around trying to figure out where the heck I put it. Okay, and I gotta decide what I'm gonna put on that other side and where. There it is. The lid to this was not on it, it was hiding under the stencil and I definitely don't want it to get dry out. I will say that ink is a couple years old and I don't, well, it's been used because it was open. It wasn't still in the plastic, but I have, like I said, I'm not sure where I got it. May have come from Joanne, but I honestly didn't know for sure. It's just in my box. I've got a box with a bunch of stamps. I mean, I've got a bunch of stamps from when I was a kid. That date back to the 90s, if not the 80s. Not sure exactly when I was collecting stamps as a kid. I found, I didn't find it in here yet. I didn't look through the stamps closely. I was more looking to do stencils. But I know that I had, as a kid, I had a DK stencil, my initials. So, and I am just putting this on as a mat. I may put another pocket on top of it, but I'm just matting these first, putting backgrounds on. And like I said, I will make top loading pockets on the top of the bag. Okay, I got that. And I'm going to want to cover this as well. There it is. I was going to say my bone folder is nowhere to be found, but then I found it. It's a little more glue under that corner. Trying to find that happy medium that's enough glue to stick it down, but not so much glue that it's oozing out, and I don't always hit the mark. But isn't that true with everything in life? Sometimes you're the windshield, and sometimes you're the bug. Oh. Okay. Here's this paper towel where that glue squidged out a little bit. I don't think that's a real word, but it sounds like it should be squidged. Okay. Let's see. Still needs just a little bit more on that corner. And now it'll probably squidge out and make a mess. But if it glues the corner down, then I won't worry about it. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it either way, but I'll be pleased if it glues the corner down. Okay. What should we do here? Oh no, this is the side that's going to be glued down. So that doesn't need to be covered. And I don't need to cover this because it's just plain brown. This I would like to cover. So, take a drink of water and, oh, I'll use some of that book page that I colored. wanted to do something a little different for this page. So I think I really like this page. And I didn't even think I didn't need to color on both sides of it. I'm gonna use this side because I like that torn edge. And let's see if I can find a ruler so I can just tear this rather than cutting it with the trimmer. That was the ruler that I was hoping to find. Oh, I need an organizational system. I'm really good. If there's a system in place, I'm really good at mastering that system and then improving it. Setting up systems of my own is not always my strength. Okay, that goes. You know what? I might go around the corner with that system. There. So I'm just going to tear it off. I don't even need to tear it off. I'm going to fold that under. No, not. Just kidding. Just kidding. That glued down across the fold, and then I'll try to be patient and let it dry before we fold it again. Bone folder, burnish that down. It's not quite straight, but that's okay. Doesn't need to be perfect. Not looking for perfection, just looking for something I like. I want it to be nice, but I don't need it to be perfect. Really working on letting go of needing anything to be perfect because, it's just not going to be, so there's no need trying to be perfect. I grew up feeling like I needed to be perfect and do things perfectly, and that is not ideal. Okay, so okay, so I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And then we'll decorate it some more. I think at some point. Okay, so I'm going to grab these washi rolls of stamps. I'm going to do some decorating with these because I really like them. And I think they go really well with this journal. So I'm just going to go through and put some stamps, washi stamps around. Add this to the side of this page. I'm just going to try to go somewhat straight, at least keep it on the page, as opposed to going off the edge. Just tear it off at the top. So I just have, I didn't mean to bump you there. Here, let me angle that a little better. You can see what I'm doing. So I got that. And then we're going to need something here. So let's see what we might want to do. Actually, I'm going to come back to that because I'm going to do some more. I'm going to play with the washi first. So this is cool with the dictionary page, but I want to add just a little extra interest. So we're just going to add different strips of washi throughout the journal. On this side, just inside of that, just because it's fun. Working on using stuff up. Okay, I want to do something to that stark white page. I don't think washi is going to be the thing. Let's make a pocket. I know. I said I was going to go through and just do washi, and then I got distracted. Okay, so let's make a nice pocket on here. And I think I'm going to use this music paper again. Is that one or this one? No, let me use this one. Tear the edge. Let's see. Get it all the way on the down. I'm going to get that. No, I'm not going to tear it because I'm not going to be able to get just the white, and I don't want to tear off the base and treble clefs. I like those. So we'll get the paper trimmer out and just do a little slice. And then we'll measure how much we need and paper trimmer again. It just sits on the floor right by my feet. Stands up on the floor right by my feet, not in my scoreboard. So they are handy and ready for me when I need them. And that works great, except when they try to fall over, and then I don't get too happy about it, but I deal with it because that's just life. Oh, and I have a box of book page pockets. Play with those. Okay, we're gonna get all of that white up there. Just use my scissors to get that off. And then we've got this coming off the bottom from that graph paper we have on the back. So, I'm going to use this side that is not completely covered with that. I think I'm going to make this mostly the size of the page. Just going to mark it here. And here. So, trimmed off. And it'd be nice to have shelves in front of me. There's I'm using kind of the short end of my kitchen table. And so I've got kind of the whole table in front of me. And obviously, of course, I can't reach to stuff. I've got a big pile of stuff in the middle of the table. It'd be nice to have some shelving there. So, oh, I know what shelves I could use. It might look kind of weird to put them on my kitchen table, but you know what? I am all about function and not as much about how it looks in front. In fact, I have a funny story from when I was teaching about that, because we were getting ready for students, and I was working on my classroom, and I had all of the desks in the center of the room so that it was easy to get around them while I was doing everything else in the classroom. And my principal, every time he came by, he was just kind of freaking out that the classroom wasn't going to be ready in time. And, and I didn't know what he was doing. I mean, I was like, yeah, fine, I'm doing it. It's going to be great. And it was my first year at this school. And so, he's kind of panicking, and I don't know what his problem is. I knew it was going to be ready and totally fine. I'm going to peel off as much of this stuff will come out, because otherwise it's going to catch on whatever I keep in that pocket. So, one of the other teachers who'd been there for a while came in, and I was talking about how he was kind of freaking out. She goes, so if you set up the desks the way they're going to be, that will help calm him down. And I was like, really? It's so much easier to work with them in the middle. And she said, but if you set them up the way they need to be, the classroom will look more put together, and that will help. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, that seems ridiculous to me, because I'm all about function, and You know, it's nice to have the extra space to be able to go around them. But, you know, I'm new to the school and I want to, you know, make a good impression. And so I'll take your recommendation. And so I did. And the next time he came into the classroom, he's like, oh, good, you're making progress. I was pleased that it was getting better. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's just, he was very into how things looked. And he was really funny and he was really great with the kids. But he and the assistant principal both liked to stir up drama among the teachers and then sit back and watch how things played out. And it was really, really immature and it really, really sucked. And it was a really rough year as far as colleagues because my grade level was just, our grade level chair was a third year teacher. It was my 9th year teaching. So the grade level chair is a third year teacher, and she and the first year teacher were in charge of writing the reading lessons. Now, mind you, I had done so many courses on balanced literacy, and it was the first time that this district was doing balanced literacy. And literally at the beginning of the year, we were at the training for balanced literacy, and I answered so many questions. At one point, the lady running the thing goes, do you want me to just hand you the microphone and let you run the rest of the course? And I was like, teach the rest of this course? And I said, well, I can if you'd like me to. Sure, no problem. And so their lesson plans were not very good. And yet I was literally required to use them word for word. And it was not good. So it was a tough year. Okay, we'll do that like that for now, and we'll come back and make a tag for that later. I really like this little flip out here. This might be a good place to do some stenciling. And next time, I think I will do my stenciling and stamping before I sew the signature into my book and start decorating, because it is a little bumpy. So, though, I mean, you know, it's not a big deal for things to come out a little, I don't know, not quite, don't know exactly what I'm trying to say here. So, but they don't, the stencils sometimes, you know, when you're on a bumpy surface, it doesn't cover quite the way you're expecting it to. Which, I mean, it is a, and I know I got like a pack of a whole bunch of different stencils from, it may have been an Amazon order, it may have been a Shine order. Not really sure. Okay, what color do I want to use? Do I want to use one of those? Let's see, which other colors do I have? The other colors are pretty bright. I don't know if they really go with the grunge, but let's, I got a kind of darker blue. Let's do that. Okay, and I was wrong. That green probably have not been opened before. Sorry if that noise is loud. There's a little plastic bag. I probably did open this yesterday when I was, the green one, when I was doing stuff. Quick drying and smear resistant. Okay. So now we need here we go. The new dauber. There they are. Just a new pad for the dauber. A different color ink. Got several of these floating around. Probably a good idea to kind of organize them into something and keep them together rather than letting them get. And I'm going to go and angle might just do some rather than the whole stencil. So we'll do some here, some here. Oh, that blue is pretty. I love blue. Yeah, I like that. So when I was a kid, hated pink. I did not like pink at all. And I loved blue. And so my dad owned a bicycle store that he opened the year that I was born. And I was going to get a new bike. I was in 4th grade. And there was a blue Mount Shasta that I loved. And he's like, no, you need to get this other bike. And it was hot pink. I said, absolutely not. He goes, it's a better bike, Dory. I said, I don't care. I don't like pink. I'm not riding a pink bike. And I mean, I had to work at the bike shop and help pay for this bike. I mean, even when I got a bike for my birthday, I had to help pay for it. So I was like, no, Dad, I am not paying for a bike that is a color that I hate. And he was so mad at me because I wouldn't get the bike that was the better bike. Please, leave this page blank. And our neighbors ended up buying the pink bike for their daughter. And he would kind of growl every time he saw that other bike because he was like, oh, you should be riding that one instead of this. I was like, let's do 2 pockets that go sideways here. And we'll cut them out of the same sheet of paper. We'll just go, sorry lady, we're gonna have to go right down the middle of your face. And then let's do one that's about the stall. And then one that's about the stall. So we're gonna have one that's bigger than the other. I'm okay with that. Pencil in the cup, Dory. So, yeah. Not riding a blue bike. I mean a pink bike. I loved that blue bike. Whoa, my favorite bike, probably my very favorite of my bikes was, well, okay, actually I must have liked pink okay as a kid, because when I was in kindergarten, I got a pink banana seat bike for my birthday in December, and it sat in my bedroom all winter. And in Montana, you know, winter goes until sometimes April. And then Dad tells the story of me learning to ride that bike, and he ran behind it, so holding it, helping me, you know, when we took the training wheels off, because of course it had training wheels when I first got it. And he was so embarrassed that his daughter was like 7 before she learned to ride a bike without training wheels. I was probably 6. I don't know. Anyway, he was just, you know, he owned a bicycle store, and his daughter couldn't learn to ride a bike to save her life. And then, so then he got, when my brother was, I don't know how old he was maybe 3 or 4 when he got a brand new bike. And my dad had given, for his birthday, I think, or, yeah, it must have been his birthday, because they got him a bike. And it was a black BMX bike. He was terrified of it. All right, so we're losing most of this lady's face. Sorry, lady. He was absolutely terrified. He would not go near it. Like, he was, I don't know, he just was terrified of this bike. And so my dad literally had to go and exchange it, which, I mean, of course, is easy to do when you own the shop, and exchange it. And so he got a blue banana bike instead. Banana seat bike instead, light blue. But that was so funny. Oh, gosh. Fun times. Memories are fun. Do you remember your first bike? If you do, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Yeah, as a kid, I loved going to work at the bike shop. I remember I was pretty little when I would go. And I would vacuum the shop, dust the bikes. I remember one day, it was just Dad and I at the bike shop, and I was probably about 5, and the phone rang. I said, can I answer it? Can I answer it? And he goes, okay. And so I answer, hello, bicycle hanger. And they hung up. And then the phone rings again. And I go to grab it. And he goes, no, I'm going to answer it this time. And I'm sure it was the same person calling back, wondering why the heck a little kid was a little girl was answering the phone. But he also, you know, in the early years, he assembled bikes at Kmart to make ends meet. And so I got to go with him sometimes. And my job was to screw the pedals onto the bike. And I thought that I was just so grown up and important because I had a job. I got to put the pedals on the bikes. So if you bought a bike from Kmart in the mid-'80s in Missoula, Montana, it may have been one where that I screwed the pedals on. Oh gosh, so fun to just think back and remember things. And then I remember the very first time I got paid. My mom had come to get me, and we were out in the back of the store. And I got a quarter for vacuuming the shop, dusting the bikes. So that was. And then when I was in college, I was doing Mary Kay, and I had spent a semester in Mexico, and I came home, and Dad took me out for lunch, and we're talking, and I had decided I was going to look for a job at a bank for the summer. Because, you know, it would be, in my thought, it was like, you know, because then I can be dressed, you know, for Mary Kay and stuff like that. And he's like, no, I want you to come and run the eBay stuff at the bike shop. I was like, no. He's like, Dory, I know that Mary Kay is a priority. I know it's important. And, you know, I will let you work around it, and I can work the schedule that you want, but I know that you do a really good job, and just da-da-da-da-da-da. And so he talked me into it. And when we discussed my pay, he said, now don't tell the guys how much you're making. Because he goes, I know how much you're worth. I know, you know. So I was like, oh, so I'm making more than the guys that work in the shop. But I had gotten really mad at him when I was younger, because I was down there working all the time. And he had a DOS database, and I entered like thousands of bikes that had been sold, you know, and all the information about the person and the serial number and all that stuff. So we'll make tags for this later. And so, you know, I did that. And he had a printing press for a while. He had a mail order business in the 80s. And I would collate he printed out black and white sales catalogs, basically, just on white paper, regular copy paper, and I would collate them and fold them and put the address labels on them and to ship them and do all that when I was younger. And, you know, I liked making money. And when I turned 16, I was like, okay, I want to be a mechanic now. And teach me how to assemble bikes. He's like, no, you need to get work experience somewhere else. And so convinced me that I should work at Taco John's. That was about a block away. And he was kind of dating the manager. So I got a job working at Taco Johnson's. I mean, it was like, and I mean, she knew me, so it was partially that, but I literally, I started one day, and I must have helped close that first day. And then my second day, I closed with somebody else, and I was the one who, you know, was basically training her. And I had the key to lock up and the code to the security system and everything. I was like, dang, day two. Which, I mean, I'm sure that it was because she knew me. It wasn't, she wouldn't have just handed it over to just anybody. She was great. I really liked Sherry. She was a lot of fun. I used to play Rummy Cub at that game to play. It was fun, but so that was my first job, other than babysitting and working for my dad. But I mean, growing up, I worked at the bike shop more than both of my brothers put together. I liked money. Well, and I also was, I think, forever trying to gain my father's approval, which never felt like I got it. That's another story. We won't go into that. So, okay, I'm becoming an inker. Ink-a-dink-a-doo. Let's ink this page before we put it on as a full page pocket. Oh, I still haven't. Okay. Next pocket we do is going to be one of these book page pockets from down here. I watched a video and learned a bunch of different pockets, and I folded a bunch of them while I was in my recliner. I'm always looking for things that I can do in the recliner because I have back issues, and yes, part of it is my weight, but a big part of it is I've had several whiplash injuries over the years, and so like sitting in just a normal chair with, you know, my feet on the ground is not a comfortable position for me. So if you could see me, I'm sitting on my exercise ball and the ball is rolled back and I'm like kind of stretching my back over. So I really like, you know, sitting on the exercise ball because I can move and I can bounce and I can stretch my back. And, so I got an exercise ball. When I was in college, I was in a car wreck. It was not my fault. And I had gotten the warning, don't get in the car and drive. And I got in the car because I had a doctor's appointment. It was finals week, my senior year in college. And I discovered that I thought I had a month's grace period after my birthday, and I discovered that day that I was wrong. I needed to renew my license, and so I was going to go to the university where I had my appointment at the health center. Okay, and I don't like this, so we're going to ink that. Oh, I'm wondering if, I think it'll be okay. I'm wondering if I should reinforce the music page, but I think it'll be all right. Just get a little bit of extra ink in here. Whoops. And pull that pocket back down. Is it gonna stick? It could use a little more glue, I think. Put a little more on there. Yeah, and I literally 2 blocks from my house. A guy pulled out of a parking lot on the right, you know, on the opposite side of the street, and he was accelerating to try to beat the truck that was coming towards me in the other lane. And I was in his blind spot, and he just slammed right into the side of the car, hit the passenger side, and I was driving my mom's car, thank God, because if I'd been in my little Chevette, probably would have been a lot worse. because my Chevette was light enough, small enough and light enough that it probably would have slid into the other lane, and I probably would have gotten hit head on by that truck too. So, yeah, it was. So anyway, when I was in physical therapy for that, we were using an exercise ball, and I was like, can I get one of these for my house? And so he got me one, and I've pretty much had an exercise ball to use forever since then. Okay, do I want to use this one? It's going to be too big, so I'd have to trim it off. And actually, I could make it into two. Let's do that. Let's make this into 2 book page pockets. And we'll decorate it. Use some washi tape. Right. So we'll have one. The one I'm going to use is going to be a little bit wider, and then we'll have a little bit narrower one to use somewhere else. But anyway, so the 2 best things for me are either to be in a recliner with my feet up or on an exercise ball where I can move around and stretch. And so that's, I want to drink and I go to reach for my glue, and it's not the first time. I keep doing it over and over again. What are you doing? Do not drink the glue. Okay. So this needs, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold each of these down. I guess this is pretty sturdy paper, but I'm going to fold each one down a little bit just to double up so that the pocket's a little bit more reinforced. And I'm going to glue it down on 3 sides so that there's a side tuck. So, got those like that. I'm going to ink it before I glue it. No, before I ink it, I'm going to punch holes. Is that the bigger? That's okay. That's better. I'm going to try to get them relatively, maybe I should have done is off-centered them, and that way it wouldn't bug me that they're not all in the exact same spot, because they're not going to be, you know, if I had done it where they're staggered, then it wouldn't have been as big of a thing. Okay, so I'm gonna flip these. I didn't reinforce the top one. That's okay. It's, oh, the top one's not actually gonna be a pocket, so I shouldn't have cut that out. Shoo. I have a way to solve that though. Put a decorate over that punch that I made on the very top. Because I'm going to do a side tuck rather than a top pocket on that. Make some, whoopsie, sorry about that. We'll make some skinny tags to go up and down, to go in the different pockets. Okay, so we're going to cover that up by cutting a piece of this. Folding it in half. I hope that's not straight. Okay. I'm going to put it on there like that. And now nobody will know that I punched a hole where I didn't need one. I'll trim the edge of this off. It's going to be wider than I need it to be. Just by a smidge. Okay. Okay. Got that set. And I'm going to ink. Oh, speaking of back neck pain, my neck's getting sore. I might have to, gosh, we're almost at an hour. So it's about time to go sit in the recliner. Anyway, so I'm always looking for different, you know, craft things that I can do while I'm in my recliner to prepare. Oh, that doesn't need to, you can see that. I just love the rough edges where it was torn out of the book. It might, just in case it shows a little bit. Oops. The top will show. All right, so that's inked. Put that over there. And then glue these in. So we're just going to glue up the sides. I'm going to glue on here rather than on the big page because then I don't put glue where it doesn't belong. Put more under there because that's not staying. And on there. Line that up in the fold. Burnish it down. It's not burnishing very well because there's something underneath here that's bumpy, so we get that out of the way. And we'll go to this one. That'll be fun and give it some interest. I'm trying to think what this book is from. I'm not sure which book that is. Doesn't matter. I've got several books that I'm pulling from. This one just is. Oh, this might be that cowboy book. And you'll notice that, you know, these two are upside down. I don't care. We may decorate over them. We may not. Haven't decided yet. So, for now, I'm gonna wipe that extra glue off of there. And then wipe the glue back off that got on the back. So we don't want to glue the whole thing down. We just want the top. Oh, and it's gonna go over the page. That's okay. It's taller than the page that it's going on. We're gonna glue these sides and not this. So something will go in. Actually, that doesn't. It'd be better on the other side. So let's see if I've got a better spot for it. That one's already got a pocket. Just looking to see if there's another white page that I can cover up with it. I've already covered the white pages that face that direction. I don't want this to be where a card goes in because it's just too easy to catch on that. And it's easier if the place where you load is on the outside. But I guess I could do it on a copy stage page. It doesn't have to be on. Okay. Alright, we'll put it on this page. Let's just see. Make sure I don't glue too high. Where it will. Glue into the next page instead of the page it's on, since the pocket's a little bit taller than the page that it's going on. It doesn't need to go in the crease. Over a little bit. And that is, we're gonna go like this to burnish that because it's quite bumpy under there. Press that on so it can stay on nicely because we will be sliding something in and out over here, so it needs to be, I mean, I want everything glued down well, but it just needs to be a little bit extra. A little bit. Okay, I like that. All right, so we're gonna end here for today for this video. I'm sure I will record multiple videos, other videos today because I'm very much in a crafty mood today. But that is going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you would leave a comment and say hello, subscribe to my channel, and give me a like, and maybe even share it with a friend. I hope that you do something today that sets your soul on fire and brings you joy, and that you follow your bliss. Have a great day.